second and fourth as work sessions. After the meeting, we had a school board representative come to us and said she's a school board rep and their voting meeting and work session is on the first and third. So second and third.
The schools are.
Okay, so we have to change ours. So there's the second and third. So
Second is their committee or their work session, and the third is their vote.
We all voted second, fourth.
second and fourth voting.
Whatever the opposite is of theirs.
Yeah. It's gotta be voted on next week anyway, so, Diane, just type it in where it has to be. I don't think that, she would mind missing a work session. I think she wants to come to voting meetings.
Who's that?
Mrs. Spence. Yeah. Mrs. Spence. All right. New business, Oil Creek Township bulk water agreement. Roger brought to our attention that that agreement hasn't been signed, that there was some confusion or something going on with it. Diane, can you get us up to date?
I actually have a meeting tomorrow over at the township building for another part of a project that's going on up there at the Tea-Free Church. That meeting, Tim and I are going, just kind of sitting in the background until we find out if there's anything that the city needs to act on.
What was the holdup on the agreement? Before
Needed attendance to their meeting, township meeting.
our
The city
attendance to
needed
their
to
meeting?
go to their meeting, yes.
Okay. And who was responsible to go to those meetings?
It wasn't a regular attendance.
And that kept us from signing an agreement?
From doing any negotiation or anything. And they had a change in supervision as well.
Why don't you let all members of council know how that meeting goes, and if it's to the point where we can get this on the voting meeting, let's get it done. Any comments about this?
No.
Resolution 13, City Council rules. We had talked briefly about eliminating Resolution 13, which basically set rules for council meetings, stating that had to be city taxpayers to talk, non-residents weren't allowed to. Little things like standing in the back of the room. Chief.
We do make one exception for me.
We just want to run our meetings per the third class city code. We welcome comment as long as everybody's respectful from this table out and from you to us. I don't think we need 3 pages of rules. So, any comments by council?
Well, we're glad to have this change, and we're glad to have people here. We're glad to hear from everybody because everybody has valuable input.
I think it's important as a small rural community, like the old days, you know, people come into our community that work here, they bring their kids to school, they bring kids to swim practice, dance practice, they shop here, and somebody driving through our town may have an idea, and why not listen to them? So that was the driving force behind this also. Tax anticipation note. Over the years, City Council have made transfers to the budget, basically stating that they were reimbursement for work done. Under right to know, the city could never provide the number of hours worked by employees, so we don't know exactly what our cost was. What I'd like to know of this is, and I don't want to talk about tax anticipation notes, I want to talk about a loan. Tax anticipation note, according to the solicitor, requires a lot of state filing and so on. But we can borrow upfront monies to get us through certain months that there's no tax revenue. And also, it has to be paid, interest has to be paid on that loan. So what we need to know is what we need as far as money goes, to get us through until taxes start coming in. I'm not recommending that we take any money out of the budget, it's budgeted, but I am recommending that we consider at our next meeting voting on that we transfer a loan to be paid back with interest, and that the city manager check with local banks to see what the interest rate would be on a tax anticipation note, because council will set the percentage of payback. Along with that, to get an idea of what our costs are to our water and sewer department, I would ask that the Public Works Director be instructed to develop a equipment rental fee, backhoe rental fee, truck rental fee. So if our employees are working on a water project, that we can bill the water department or sewer department for those, and along with employee costs and benefits.
Good question on that. I met with Patrick today a little bit about this, and one example he gave was a truck that was purchased using water funds that they are now plowing with, out plowing. They had an issue with the truck. Do we bill that to snow removal, or do we bill that to water?
It was bought with water department monies, Rich. Should it be billed back to water?
I'd say it should be billed back to water, that's the original source.
On the interest, does it have to be whatever the going tax anticipation rate is?
No, it has to be set by city council, but to get an idea of what percentage that,
Is there just like some minimum that is allowed, like 1% or something of that nature, or not?
Not really, no. No, I think the idea of what a bank would charge is just to get an idea what the going rate is, to do something reasonable.
Excuse me, is there not money already in to carry us over to April in the budget?
I don't know.
Not to make the MMO payments. We can't do both. We could make it through personnel, but we couldn't make it through the MMO payments.
If you can come up with that number, Diane, let us know.
The next meeting?
Yeah, for the next meeting. Any other questions or comments on that?
You said something about rent fees. I was trying to.
Rental fee would be if our crew is working, that we would actually bill for the backhoe. So,
Oh, internal.
right, yes, have our Public Works Director develop a charge back for that type of equipment. And then instead of transferring $500,000 in January, we would transfer enough to get us through for the tax anticipation, pay it back, and bill as we go for our actual costs associated to water and sewer. And again, not taking any money out of the budget, because by the end of the budget, I would imagine we're gonna need it to balance the budget.
Hopefully it actually saves a little money.
Right. Because over the last, since 2012, there's been over $6 million transferred from the water and sewer fund into the general fund. And that is, it was $700,000 more than what the shortfalls were of all those budgets. So we should have some money to help us out, I guess. Any other questions, comments?
No, the excess money, would that be used rainy day fund projects?
Yeah, if there's any money left over, but the way the budget's set up, it looks like right now, the budget without the transfer is $927,000 short. The transfer is $927,000. So I think what we're looking at this year is a year to really calculate the actual cost, and hopefully there's some savings, but if there's not, we're gonna need that $927,000 to balance the budget. But if there's anything left over, rainy day projects or whatever, would be a great
I
idea.
think it's important because water lines are popping all the time.
Sure, sure. There's also 2 employees in the general fund that are funded, I believe it's at 80%,
85%.
85% of water and sewer. And so, you know, we need to know what their actual hours are. You know, in the wintertime, well, they're not this year, but, you know, they do a lot of plowing. You know, so those hours have to come on. So you're talking 15%. You know, it's not gonna take a long time to use up that 15%. So are they really working 85% of their time in water and sewer? And I think that's what we're looking to find out.
So we know the budget, all right?
Right. CDBG,